Arjun Viz again, and today we will be doing the Save the Cat strategy for plotting the story, that is outlining the story. Now this is a 3-act method, and actually you can say it's a 3-act method, or it is a 15 beat or 15 pulse method. Now as you can see on the sideways, I have made this a kind of a storyboard of 3 acts on one of the almirahs. Actually it had a white door, so it was very easy to make this 3-act structure on this particular almirah. Now how the 3 acts, they cover the 15 beats, and accordingly either we can say they cover the 15 beats or some 27 steps. That is 9 steps in each act. That we'll get to know. Okay? With the Act 1. The Act 1 represents actually the setup. And what are the beats that are covered in Act 1? They are, first of all, we have an opening image. An opening image is actually a before or the first image that you have to represent or show to your readers of the protagonist. This is an ideal structure of a fiction story, and I have decided to go by this structure because I found it the best. So I have chosen to make a storyboard out of this Save the Cat model, right? So first is the opening image that you will be showing to your readers. Then we have the setup. In the setup, you have to cover all the before world. That is the introducing your character and introducing the world to the readers, that where he lives, what is his challenges, what is his daily routine, what is his lifestyle, and what is actually that will, some circumstances that will make the story grow. That is, whatever he has to fight, everything is never perfect in a story. So you have to show the flaws of his circumstances, his present conditions and everything. That is the setup. Then we come to the theme stated. That is something that happens during the setup. It includes and it shows a hint about some of the life lessons that the protagonist is learning in his present circumstances, and what is the challenges he's facing, and accordingly how he's mentally being prepared so that the story grows further, and some action he takes, right? Then we come to the catalyst. Catalyst is actually the inciting incident. Now this is the catalyst or the inciting incident that actually brings a sea change in the present circumstances and serves as a real push towards the Act 2. Though it is not actually the time of the Act 2, but it is the catalyst. This is an inciting incident that is very prominent, out of the track, something unexpected, something very rare, something very exciting, something very adventurous, something that is out of the way, that really takes the attention of the reader, right? Then there is, next point is the debate. Now, whatever has happened during the inciting incident that leads to a debate, a side of a kind of a conflict is arising now, and there is a debate. There are a lot of conversations going on. Now, I forgot to tell you that in the setup, you have to show the supporting characters also that are with the protagonist in the beginning, if you have to show. If the protagonist is alone, then you don't have to show, but if there are some friends or something like that, which are already there from the childhood or from the very beginning, that you have to show in the setup only. So now in the debate section, we have the conflict, and then there's a lot of conflict going on. A decision is about to be made in the mind of the protagonist that there should be something he should do to actually get over the inciting incident or the catalyst. Now, this is the time when there starts the Act 2. Now, Act 2 is basically, the first part is to break into the Act 2. That is, now the adventure or the journey or something different story of the protagonist, it begins. That is, the protagonist is actually breaking into something new, different from what it was before. It is not the usual circumstances, not the usual conversations, something his mind is set upon that he's leading him further into the story. Then comes the fun and the games or the promise of the premises, which also involves the B story. Actually, this is now the time when the new world has taken over completely. The before or the introductory world has gone now, and now the protagonist is totally surrounded by the new people, new world, and there's a B story. This is the right time you have to introduce a new character, something that is very supportive of the protagonist, a friend, a mentor, a very good intimate friend, anything like that which you feel that adds value and relevance to your story, you can introduce at this time in the B story. Then the next beat is the midpoint. This is the fun and the games that are taking over their powerful course, and this is the midpoint. Now everything is perfect in the new world, and the protagonist and the B story or the new character, they are having a good time together, and something is going on. That is, if there's a mentor, the teaching is going on, everything is going on perfectly fine or in a positive direction. Then the next beat, the bad guys close in. Now suppose, say your story was not actually positive before, so the bad guys close in, actually you have to introduce something very positive. But if it was actually in the midpoint very positive, then you have to introduce something very negative now, so that it is totally the opposite of the prior situation. Then generally, actually the midpoint is very positive, so the bad guys close in, something negative turns up, and the next beat is all is lost. That is, there is a total mournful situation. The protagonist has now gone deep down in depression. There's something lost, rather all is lost at this particular moment, and the protagonist is actually having no hope of anything to turn up positive now. That gives rise to the new beat, that is the dark side of the soul. You have to show all the emotional twists and turns of the protagonist, how he's mourning, how he's going through the depression, what are his conversations, what are his exact feelings, everything. You have to show his darkest side, even if he has some evil intentions or some wrong feelings, that is, you can show at this particular moment. And that is the time to break into the Act 3. The first beat of the Act 3 is to break into the Act 3. Now, after diving deep into the depression and the darkest side of the story, is the time to lift up. That is, time to get some courage, time to get some hope, and the protagonist thinks of something that will really change or be a better situation. Then we come to the next beat, that is the finale. Now whatever the protagonist decides to do into the break into the 3, that is whatever he has thought of a plan to make the situations better and improved, he works for that. That is the finale part. He takes some action, he does something, or he has some conversation, whatever it is. This is the time of the finale. In the finale section, if there is a conflict, there is a serious fight, then there should be some triumph or some victory of the protagonist also. That is, all in all, the protagonist should reverse back into the better and improved situation from the darkest side. Then comes the next beat and the last beat, that is the final image. Now, you remember I told you have to show an introductory image of the protagonist in the first opening image. Now the final image is a well-versed, improved, learned much mature, much grown, a victorious protagonist. That is, it is actually a positive event. There's a resolution of the conflict. The bad guys, they are no more. Everything is supportive, everything is positive, and everything is in the favor of the protagonist. And even if there is a new world in the final image, but it is for the better, and leave a thought of the delight, happily ending situation in this particular final image. So this is the 15 beat or the 3-act structure or model of Save the Cat that was introduced by Blake Snyder for all the newbies who wants to write their story, who don't know how to write a story, especially the fiction one. So this was a kind of a beat sheet which you can actually follow to make your story, and I really liked it, so I made a storyboard out of it. And now I'll tell you the 9 points in each of the acts. So the first act is the setup act. It includes the 9 points. The set of first 3 is the introduction, inciting incident, fallout. Then the set of next 3, that is reaction or rebel. Then there should be some action, and that leads to a kind of a result or consequence. Then the next 3 or the last 3 set in the act 1, that is the pressure. There's a twist in the plot, that is the catalyst or the inciting incident, and there's a push into the act 2. Now the first 3 set of the act 2, they include the new world, the fun of the games, and the old juxtaposition. That is total transformation from the old to the new world. Then comes the 3 set again, that is build up, some midpoint, something happens, and reversal. That is the best or the worst of the situation changes to worst or the best as per the story goes on. And then comes the set of the last 3, that is there are some results, trials, and dedication. Now there's a dedication to lift oneself up from the darkest side, to look at the better future, to look for hope, and to look on the sunshine from the darkest side. So that breaks into the act 3 that consists of the first 3 points. The set is there is some calm before the storm. Then there's again a plot twist. So this is the second plot twist that happens in the act 3. The first one happened in act 1. And then comes the darkest moment. After that, the next 3 sets of the points includes there is some power within, some action is taken, and then convergence. That is towards the positive end. And the last set is the battle, the climax, and finally the end. That is happy ending, resolution. Everything happens for the best. That is the moral of the story. So that is the 15 beat or the 3-act structure of Save the Cat. And now, as you can see on my board, there are some spaces left. So what I've decided is I will stick to this storyboard. You can make it on a, actually I first decided to make it on a folder, but I thought this would be more visually representative and it would be better to follow this visual storyboard rather than turning pages on a folder or something like that. And this will give all the acts in one visualization, which I will not get in a folder actually. And whatever there is space in between, you can actually make some pictures of the protagonist, some characters, some of your world building that we'll be doing later on. And you can actually paste these pictures in these empty spaces which relate to these 15 beats. Right? So as I do that, I will show you, I will give you an idea of what is basic, actually the course of the story. It will be like a flow chart thing. You can turn it into a story. So I hope you like this video. If you really liked it, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more videos. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.